acrostic, and we all were embracing it. You know, fear was supposedly false evidence appearing real. And it became the nomenclature for the church. But I've grown to differ with that acrostic because false evidence appearing real is really not the right description for fear, because there are some fears that are not false, they are realities. Nothing fake and false about some things that we encounter in life that strike a note of fear in our hearts. I guess that says that we just can't jump on every churchy saying that doesn't have real theological or even sociological truth behind it. Fear is a real problem. It's a real problem in the hearts of people in every age. And if we can't and do not manage or control our fears, they can cause emotional and physical, psychological, even spiritual paralysis, while it holds hostage and even kills every dream and aspiration that one might have. In this 27th Psalm, David has been assigned the authorship, and in it he's grappling with this emotion or this demon of fear. It's not exactly known as to the source of that fear, but it's believed that he wrote this psalm when he was running for his life while being hunted by King Saul. And then others assign the writing of this psalm to the period in which his son Absalom had started a coup against him and his throne. Whatever the case, we do know that David was up against this enemy, fear, this situation, and the threat of that enemy, whether it was Saul or his son, was really fueling fear in his heart. However, as true as that may have been, David doesn't give in to the temptation to succumb to his fears. For these words in the psalm serve as comfort and inspiration, and they are words that gave him victory over fear. It's a given when we stand for God, when we stand for Christ, when we stand for truth, that there will be enemies that will wage an all-out attack upon us. Enemies from without, yes, and the ones within. They all will begin their campaigns to defeat us through the tactic of instilling fear in our hearts. And these attacks shouldn't be surprising, because Jesus said that the enemy comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. In essence, I guess they are to be expected. However, the probability of that fact doesn't lessen, even though we should expect the enemy from without and the ones within to wage against us. That fact doesn't lessen nor remove the anguish and the anxiety that's coupled with fear. Whether from without or from within, that assault has a way of showing up, and if we're not careful, it can consume our psyche and prohibit any hope for better days to come. It'll prohibit those hopes of better days from even entering into our minds. So out of his experience, David, while combating fear, he speaks the words found in this psalm to console us as they did him, as well as create confidence in us as we face our enemies and their weapons of fear. So what or who was his confidence in? The answer is God. Because God was the source of his confidence. Right there in the first verse, he said, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" And David saying to us in that first verse that God was three things to him. That God was light, that God was salvation, and that God was strength.